Let's call the meeting to order, 7 o'clock p.m. Roll call. Oh, make pledge the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody has to excuse themselves from doing this.
Three. Okay, give me something to eat. Okay, roll call.
Mark Foltz.
Here.
Mark Fisher.
Here.
Francis Griffith.
Here.
Kelly Schmidt here. Troy Parmalee.
Okay, should have the agenda. We want to add electric range to the very new business at the very end. And switch audit and assessor report, just switch that around.
Switch them around.
Yeah, just switch them.
So she can go.
So that's what I see.
Yep.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda
Kelly, okay.
with the additions.
Seconded by Bush, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, October 4th, our minutes should be typed and ready to go.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Mark, okay. Seconded by Butch, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Check, okay. October 30th, that was our special meeting together with Cecil. Troy, you want to talk about it briefly? Just that we had a,
Well, we can talk about it under the assessor report.
about a 30-minute meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, and the
But
meeting.
this is just the minutes.
The minutes were done
We're just
with
approving the
CISA and with the township, so,
Motion to approve the special
Troy?
meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Mark, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Check. Okay, what time is it? 7:01.
7:01.
Okay, we have to have a quick LDFA informational meeting, and we will begin that right now.
Okay,
Okay.
so this is one of the two required LDFA public information sessions. So this is to provide information on the LDFA district through the I-69 International Trade Corridor. And this is area that encompasses Lansing Road, both in the city of Perry and Perry Township. The only active tax capture is, of course, in Perry Township. At this time, there is, the balance in the account is $45,900, and that is all set aside for utility reserves on the Lansing Road corridor. Are there any questions from the public on the LDFA information session?
Okay, being none, we'll close out the special meeting,
7:03.
7:03. Okay, rapidly moving on. Public comments? I'm
I
getting
have-
you a chair, okay. He's doing that right now.
I have one.
Kelly.
The flagpole has been installed down at the cemetery.
The what?
There was a flagpole that was donated by Jim Postma with Great Lakes Monument. He and Mike Green were able to get that erected. And we purchased, you'll see on your bill, we purchased a solar light to light the flag. So that is completed.
Okay, great. Well, the flag turned out great, right in the veteran circle.
Yep, in the Veterans Circle.
Okay. That's the comment. Any more comment? What? No? No? Okay, sheriff's report, Troy.
We didn't get one yet, or did we?
That's
It was in
early.
your box.
It was.
Here.
22 traffic stops and a total of 121 calls for the month.
Just checking that. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, check. All right. Mark Cecil. Briefly.
We went over talked about the different contracts that we're trying to get finalized. And right now, we're down to City of Durand and Shiawassee Township.
Okay.
We're talking about starting to make sure we bill fees for services with fire equipment on things like automobile accidents, because those are collectible from insurance companies.
Sure.
And sold the old, or attempting to sell the old Ford Explorer, I don't know if it's sold. And the board voted to refer some information to the state police for criminal investigation of ex-chief of
Chief.
Then we had the special joint meeting with Perry Township Board Monday night to consider, Sessa was in a tight financial position, and we weren't able to secure a bank loan in the time frame we had to work with. So the township has purchased 2 of the pieces of equipment from Sessa and has leased it back to them with a normal buyout at the end, so that we could arrive.
A dollar buyout at the end.
Because we, as a governmental body, we can't loan them money. So, but we could do this, so we did it this way to get them out of the jam there. And basically, that's about it.
Okay, and the meeting went well? And
Yeah, that meeting went
both sides
I'll
of
just add on to that, there's a follow-up, took the payment over today, all the documents have been executed. There is a delay in the title processing because the titles that Sessa had were the vehicle origination titles, not a true state of Michigan title. So-
come out of state.
Yes, and the paperwork never got done when they were bought. So Tim took that up to the Secretary of State to get that done. So when the new one comes in a week or so, then we can transfer to us. So
Okay, so we're on track.
we're on track, there was some paperwork that didn't get done when they were bought, and so that has to be done now. So,
Okay. Check. All right, DDA, we meet in January. We did meet in October, and it was well attended. A couple absent, everybody else was there. The board asked me to, by November 1st, submit a formal request of Eagle, which I did do about a week and a half ago. I did go to the city of Perry and meet with Sue Hammond to see if she wanted to join us, but come to find out their supervisor of maintenance for the city of Perry had already submitted theirs for only the well water, the new well, and the repairs on an old well they have across the street of Ellsworth Road. They have land on the south part of Ellsworth, but they want well number 4 is effective, and they want a new well number 5, so they've already submitted their $1.5 million for the Eagle funding. So I submitted ours only for the water tower on Lansing Road and the water loop on our business district for DDA, which is about roughly $4 million. So I got that submitted. All it is an intent letter that we would like a grant money from Eagle. They get a lot from the federal government. They don't want to have to give it back. They sent me to a seminar which explained that down in Kalamazoo, and it all, basically it's money that is up for grabs. If they can't get it distributed, it goes back to the federal government. So that's how that works. So we've asked for some money. Hopefully we'll be successful. Zoning, we don't have it yet. Commissioner's not here. Library, Mark.
Well, you get the schedule of events and stuff here. One thing to note is they've had 4 authors visits, some of them with local connections at the libraries this year, and they've already started to get some scheduled for next year, so pretty active.
Okay. Thank you. All right, and your planning commission.
You missed I-69. You missed I-69.
Oh, I-69.
we didn't have a quorum.
No,
there was no
you were there but not there.
No, they canceled it ahead of time, they knew there
Oh,
wasn't.
okay, no problem. All right. Planning commission.
No, SEDP now.
SCDP, I'll get you.
The biggest thing of import at that meeting this time was that we've had a lot of good reactions from visiting around for the meetings this year, but it becomes an issue after the first year of finding people that want to do it without having to get people to repeat. And it's just, and it gets confusing because you don't know where you got to go this month. So Baker College has said we'll do it for the whole year next year. So the board meetings for SCDP will be at Baker College next year. And we haven't had a land bank or a brownfield authority meeting yet. yet because that is the first Monday, so that's next Monday.
Okay, good. Planning Commission.
Planning Commission, we talked about this Josh Schroyer, the Durling Trust Fund, property with the garage, and, you know, there really isn't a problem. I mean, he already has an accessory building that's on the property line now. This is just, there's nothing really on the other side of it. There's property, but nothing really there, so we said yes, we don't see a problem with that.
Okay.
And we are working on the zoning ordinance, and this is gonna be a long process. So they said, what about if we need to meet more than once a month? And I said, well, if we need to meet more than once a month, we need to go back to the township board and ask for approval on that, because you're gonna be out of budget.
Well,
Now, you've had several months during the year where you didn't meet.
I know, but if they're talking about definitely every month and possibly twice a month, so I just said that.
Well, I mean, if it's truly productive meetings,
Yep. So I said, when we discover that we need to do that, then we need to go
I
back.
mean,
to the
we have
township board.
plenty, and, because, I mean, again, we were just going through this the other day, I mean, there's been 4 months, I think, during the year where we haven't had a need to meet,
Right.
so,
We should be in good shape for the rest of this fiscal year.
yes.
And
So
But-
did the planning commission make a recommendation to the ZBA on that variance one?
formally.
oh, on this
I
one,
have
yeah,
no-
yes, we did, but we don't have it. We just said, no problem.
Oh,
So I wasn't told that.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I mean, you know, we just normally pass on to the county ZBA.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
you said Peter note that we okayed it, that the planning commission okayed it. Did that-
No, I mean, I think if the planning commission didn't act on it, that's
They just said
what
it's
we
fine.
just said, there's no act on it.
Oh, there's no action on it. That they had no problem. I know. If
I haven't seen the minutes. I don't know.
you're not sure. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, if they did take action, we'll send it up to them, if not, not, I mean, you have to do what the minutes say.
That was all they had
Yeah.
to do? Okay. All right. Say it.
Yep.
Okay, Troy, financial report and pay the bills.
All right, you got your bills list in front of you. Nothing out of the ordinary really there. We did have the transfers in and the transfer out for the trucks for our special meeting the other night. Other than that, yeah, nothing new or out of the ordinary on here. No big road bills or anything like that. We are 1 month through, past halfway through the fiscal year.
1 month, halfway through. Okay.
1 month past halfway.
Any questions on the bills?
Pay the bills.
Okay, Mark wants to pay the bills. Bush wants a second, all right? All in favor? Oh, roll call vote, Kelly.
Mark Vogt?
Yes.
Mark Frazier?
Yes.
Francis Griffith?
Yes.
Kelly Schmidt, yes. Craig Harmon?
Yes.
Okay, correspondence, Kelly? Correspondence?
No, did you want to say what you wanted to say? Or are you
No,
just?
I was going to let her speak first,
Oh,
since
okay.
she has children at home.
Okay. Nope, I have no correspondence.
Okay, unfinished business, Beardsley Road mining operation update. That was from our meeting we had, Troy.
Sure, I'll touch on that. So the zoning board of appeal, the county zoning board of appeals meeting, they officially voted to overturn, the administrative decision made by the zoning administrator, Pete Preston, on the gravel pit operation by Davis and Son there on Beardsley Road. They went through it, and the main question at hand was this an existing non-conforming use at the time the county zoning ordinance began regulating gravel pits, which apparently was in as early as the 57 ordinance. I thought it was in the 82 one, but they found it in the 57 one, so. They had extensive satellite photos that showed there was no activity there until the 1980s, the late 1980s. And that is after the effective date of the zoning ordinance, so that means any operation that had been there was non-compliant. So they reverse Pete's decision, and if they want to do something there, they will need to apply for a special use permit, which is what should have been done in the very first place. In which case, they will have to meet the criteria in the zoning ordinance for modern sand and gravel operations and have the setbacks, and hours of operation regulations, and all of those things that are in there for a reason.
Right, and it was basically a contract by actually an attorney, and it was filed October 30th, so it just got filed by this October 30th, so.
Well, these are just amendments.
This
No,
is-
that's a,
Well, that's the ordinance. That's the-
Oh, the ordinance.
That's the ordinance, yeah, so.
Well, it's just a resolution.
That's
Or
a
resolution.
That wasn't an ordinance.
Yeah,
That was a
resolution, that's
that
right.
was a zoning board of appeals administrative decision.
That's the resolution, yeah. Well, that's done. All right. Old business is old now. New business, assessing report.
Yes,
Kyla, hi.
yep,
Kyla
so,
Sweet is our assessor. She's been
Yes.
here for many years. So.
yes, since 2019, so I work in the assessing office under Tina Wright. We did our field work for this year. We visited the 20% that the state recommends. We didn't have any big pushback by the public. Everybody seemed okay with us being out in the field. We do contract out to locals for the field work. Again, like we didn't have any problems with anybody. For splits and combinations, we've had 4 splits and combinations so far this year. No problems with those. New construction in the township, out of all the permits pulled in 2023, 5 were new builds for residential homes. 1 was a new commercial building. We'll be visiting those in the end of December, and what's there December 31st is going to be what's on the tax roll for 2024. And now what everybody's been waiting for, the inflation rate for 2024 is 5% again.
5.
So last year it was 7%, but it caps at 5%. This year it's,
It was like 5.01 or something. I
yes,
read, yeah.
just over, just that 0.1 over. So it is gonna be 5%. So I'm sure that a lot of people are gonna be unhappy about that, but, it's going down. I mean, it's going down, but we're not gonna see it right now. We haven't gotten our sales studies yet. Those aren't due to us until December 1st. But in other townships that we assess in, we have gotten our sales studies, and it is looking like, based on our sales, residential is gonna have to go up quite a bit for assessed value. So we might see, some people in at March Board of Review to protest those assessed and taxable values. And if that's the case, we will try to explain it to them as best we can, or make adjustments if the board sees necessary. We're here on Tuesdays in the office from 9 to noon if you ever want to discuss anything. Otherwise, we have business cards with a office number, Monday through Friday, an email. You can reach us anytime to any questions, concerns. So,
What part of the township was the field work this year?
section 67, 68, 69, and
So
70.
in Morris.
Yep, we did the village. Yep, so.
And got it completed.
Yep, it's completed, yep, so we're gonna finish that up, putting all the pictures and sketches attached, but it went pretty smoothly. We had some denials, but, nobody was chasing anybody off their property, so, wasn't bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, we occasionally get a few that.
Yeah, we always do, some
Say-
people are just picky, they say nothing's changed, I don't want you out here, and that's fine, that's their right.
Right, they can always say that,
Yep,
if they say you can't come on the property, you can, but if they
Yeah.
appeal their assessment, they will have
It is
no
noted.
problems at the tax rate.
yep, exactly, it is noted if they deny, just in case they come to protest or assess their taxable value, but we do our best from aerial imaging and from the road, so.
Okay, Kyla, great. Any other questions? Questions? Thank you so much. Appreciate
Short
it.
and sweet. All right, thanks guys, I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Oh, Lennox? Yep. Okay, thank you. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Caroline Wilson, your county clerk, and I'm out, you're my first stop for the next 3 months. I plan on hitting the townships, and I've been wanting to come out sooner, but I haven't really had any good information regarding the early voting. And I figured that was going to be something that was important to discuss. So I've given out the new directories, and those are for you, and you can have some there for your constituents. I'm here to report that we're back in the courthouse, thrilled for that. This has been a long 6 months, so it's good to be back into the office at the courthouse. I wanted to remind people that we do the fingerprinting for the CPL, Certified Pistol Licensing, in our office. And so that is a one-stop shop kind of thing. We've had people not realize it when they come in, so my staff has asked me to remind the townships and things that that's what we do. And then, of course, I wanted to discuss a little bit about the early voting. So I don't know how much your clerk has shared with you. We haven't had a lot of answers up until recently. We applied for the grant. I have all the jurisdictions in the county except for the city of Owasso that is going into an agreement. And it was a very good agreement. We've agreed to the location, which really, it's a county-owned building. It's going to be at 1042 North Shiawassee Street in Corunna. It was where we were located for the temporary renovation. It's in the back part of the building where probation and parole is and the veterans office. It's a nice big room. And now it has internet and things to comply with the ADA compliance stipulations that we have to follow for the Bureau. So that's really nice, and so that's where we're going to have it. The county does not plan on charging any rent because my attitude to approach the county commission was, we are all in this together. And if that's a county-owned building, I think that's where we can come in and say, we're willing to do this. I don't know what you understand or how much you understand about the 9-day early voting. But one of the reasons why I decided to really encourage the clerks to come into this agreement was that I did not want to lose clerks. One of the biggest things for local municipalities is that they are having a hard time getting competent workers for just the normal elections. What were they going to do for 9 days? And the only thing we have to compare elections to is our crazy one-day election day. But when you talk to other people that have run or been involved in 9-day or longer elections in other states, it's not that crazy of an election day when it's 9 days before. The win that we had with the state was that we are able to pick our hours, and it is 9 days, 8 hours for those 9 days. So it isn't even, the longevity of it isn't as long either. We never shut the poll down. We never tabulate, close the tabulator so that there are results. We have guidelines that we have to follow as far as locking up the tabulators. And so what this looks like is, because there's 31 precincts in whole in the county, when we remove the city of Owasso's 6, that reduces my precinct number. And I can have up to 10 precincts per tabulator. So when someone comes in, the grant, I asked 5 tabulators. And if the grant gives me what I'm asking for, then I would have 4 to 5 jurisdictions on each tabulator. So then when a voter came in, we pull their name up, see where they're at, and then we would direct them to that tabulator. So it isn't going to be, it's going to look a little different, but they're going to be able to process their ballot right then and there. We're also doing what we call ballot on demand, because when we're at these federal and state elections, we have to order 100% ballots. And so you never want to be without a ballot, and we throw a lot of ballots away, quite honestly. And ballots are expensive. People do not realize it's special paper. It has guidelines and stipulations that they have to follow. And so it's a device that we will have programmed, and when we determine what ballot style the voter would have, we just print that ballot off right for them, right then and there, and they can go tabulate it, and if they spoil it, we print off another one. So that's really nice cost saving means that they've been able to present to us. So we are looking at the temporary, the center that we were at, the Veterans Building, And we are looking at the hours to be Monday, Tuesday, it starts on a Saturday. Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, we are doing 8 to 5, and then the Wednesday between, we're doing 9 to 6, and then back to 8 to 5 for the remainder of the 9 days. It stops on Sunday, so no tabulation will be done after the poll, after it is shut down on that Sunday, because we have to allow the electronic poll book and the Bureau to upload everything into the systems, so that when clerks are uploading their election on Monday night, they have everyone that is processed through those 9 days in the database, because it is not connected to the election, into the internet on election day. But those 9 days, we are live activity, connectivity to the internet, because we have to be able to know if someone is voting somewhere else. And so there's a vulnerability there, but they have secured measures for those 9 days. And they still have things they're still working out. We have 4 counties that are running pilots for November. They're large counties to help the Bureau get more answers. Things that, they didn't necessarily look at was recounts, what else? FOIAs, yes, FOIAs, audits, the post-election audits that take place and everything. So it's going to be a challenge. I'm not necessarily in an uproar about it, because for me, it's like we're just opening a precinct. And the best thing that I did in 2022 was ran Woodhull Township for 2 major elections. It taught me so much. Even though I did the training, and I was thankful, because my training does cover everything, but it did show me, and I've always appreciated what the clerks have to go through and what the constituents are experiencing, but I'm just opening up a precinct for the county. Clerks have to pick a day that they have to be on call. They don't even have to be there. We'll be hiring specific people to work specifically the 9 days, so that we don't dip into anybody, their help on election day. What am I missing? Anything? It was a really good meeting. The agreement is signed. I'm ready to upload that to the Bureau, but long before the due date. The due date is sometime in November. I can't think of it, but I have it ready to upload. And I'm just waiting on the grant finalization as far as what are we going to get. I asked for everything and anything, because between the city of Owasso and us, it was like $200,000. So even if we were to get the equipment covered, that was $70,000.
That's one of the reasons why the clerks decided that it was a good idea, is because if we had to pay, each individual municipality had to purchase.
Tabulator.
We would have had to purchase a tabulator,
Yes.
a laptop.
Everything.
Yeah.
And the Bureau should recognize that when we've gone together like that, because if each jurisdiction applied for all that stuff, it's a lot less money to do 5 for the county than, well, at least,
19, right?
well, there's 21 units of government in this
Right,
county.
because potentially every single clerk would have to open up another precinct. You'd have to prepare for another precinct, because you cannot have anything attached from the 9-day early voting to the normal regular election day. So you have to have everything separated.
So how does, you were touching on this, so how does the closeout of so you do not close the polls each day?
Oh, no, we shut the tabulator down, and there is a difference.
And then it's.
Yeah, right, no, because I wondered about that. At first I'd heard something that they would tabulate it, and I thought, why does only one person voted that day?
Right?
Now that tape is public record. Now their vote's public.
Yeah, the polls will be closed after 8 o'clock on Tuesday, just like everybody else. So I have special people.
So they won't be, that tabulator won't be tabulated until that night.
My price just went up.
Right.
Just like, yeah. And so one of the things I am going to be encouraging boards, and Mark heard me talk about it over the summer, My intention was to do this so that I didn't lose clerks. I have 5 right now that have told me, I don't know that I'm running in 2024. You guys have your clerk that has informed me she does not really plan on running in 2024, and I understand, I get it. I don't know how much they make, and all I'm saying is you really need to consider paying them more, maybe on the even years, giving them a per diem or something per election, because the amount of work that they have to do isn't anything that they signed up for. I've been told by so many different people, elections changed since 2017. That was my inception. So I don't know what was prior to me. I've only ever known all this craziness. So, but I do know the hours they put in. I know the hours I put in. And
It gets more complicated each one.
and
Which
it's
one?
just, there's some ridiculous things. And it's like, Kelly, they didn't sign up for that. But the work that they have to do to get things done and out, and now we've bumped everything up 9 days early. It's like deadlines and everything have changed.
So, there was, the other thing is, so people can take their absentee ballot and cast it in the voting.
Yes. I have a real problem with that.
No, I do too,
Yes.
because I think that there's a huge tracking problem there.
That's why we are live connectivity for the 9 days, and that's why then,
Assuming there's no
Pop out.
problem.
If you put it in, it would pop out.
No,
well, just that we'll be able to know that there's a button that will be able to, this is what I was told last week, that we'll be able to mark it, that they voted, and so that on Sunday night when everything is shut down and uploaded, they all will know any of their AVs that processed through the election, through the 9 days.
Yeah.
They'll
I mean,
have that.
the trick is keeping track of that, because it was assigned here and then tabulated somewhere else, and so the number of, I guess it would have never been received here, so if, for us here, it'd be kind of like a ballot that never came back.
So, Carolyn, I think I heard on the TV today, really, that Grand Blanc is having a 9-day vote right now. Is that what I'm hearing?
It's possible.
Yeah, is that just as a trial?
No.
Well, some of them are doing it to help the Bureau out so
Yeah.
that they can, what is that word? Well, not as, but, yeah. They want to
Figure
hide
out
it. They want
what
to-
they
They have a lot to figure out.
Sure, sure, okay.
And
Maybe
I
they
think
had a
25
millage
people
election.
had shown up for that.
How many?
25.
For early voting so far?
No,
Yeah, I mean,
the advantage is February's not gonna be a huge turnout election.
you know what? I think there's so much craziness since 2021 that February, the presidential primary election, didn't used to be anything big. But because 2020 and how things changed so significantly, and now how you can vote and the accessibility to your ballot, and now going to be processing your ballot, and who knows how many people we're going to have on the ballot for the presidential primary, I think that it could very well be much different than what we've looked at in the past, because Shiawassee County only had like a 32% turnout for presidential
And
primary.
that's high.
And I felt like that's pathetic.
Yeah, but primaries tend to be,
People don't want to.
I mean, August primaries are typically, the state will tell you the average is a 20% turnout. We're usually a little above that. It's,
I think part of the problem is people don't understand what presidential primaries are. That, you know, the Republican Party is having their primary along with the Democratic Party, and you have to pick, you know, what ballot you want. People don't want to do that because they don't understand exactly what they're doing. You know, you have to determine, you know, what party the person that you want to vote for, and they don't want to do that.
No. So it will be a work in progress next year all along. And we're all in this together. The state hasn't had a change like this since 1954, something like that. And this is huge. And as the Bureau shares with us through our trainings, this happened to them as well. But we're the boots on the ground. So Kelly's a great clerk. I hate to have her tell me she's looking at not running again. And so I encourage you to encourage her to get someone lined up, but really start thinking about what those even year elections look like for your clerk, because it is significantly increased tremendously. That's it.
Well, that's a lot to digest, but thank
One
you.
day at a time, Mark.
We can review it, we can play it back, and we'll hear you again.
One day at a time.
That's right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Caroline.
I know you gotta go to Woodhall.
I'm off to Woodhall.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I said, watch out for the deer around here.
Oh, that.
Okay.
Right across
Got
there.
a lot of them. Bye-bye. Thank you. Okay. Audit. Hi. All right, Daniel will speak for us
Yep.
on our audit that was completed.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't want to go into too much detail. We'd be here till midnight, so I don't want that, so.
No, they've all had copies of it and everything. I just asked Daniel if he would come and, you know, we haven't had someone present it in several years. It was long before COVID, and so just put a name with
Yeah,
the presentation and stuff. And I think Luke was the one who came last time, so.
yeah, definitely. So I'll just kind of go over a couple of highlights here, just kind of over the basic things. So the first thing we have is the independent auditor's report, and the most important part about this is the opinion at the beginning, which it says that we believe everything's materially stated and in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So that's the best opinion we can give. The rest of this is just a lot of standard language, but that's just kind of the main thing there is like everything went as good as it definitely could have. And then the next part of this is the management's discussion and analysis. And this is probably one of the most important parts of this, I guess, is you get a lot of information here. It's actually comparing the two audit years in this, and then also in the later statements that you see. I'm not going to go through all of this, but we can see at the top here the government-wide, the net positions are all pretty large, and they're all positive. That's good. You know, there's no risk of going, you know, or very, very little risk of going negative on any of these. And then I guess I'm going to skip to page 6. It's got the statement of net position. So this is what I was talking about. It's kind of comparing 23 to 22. And we can see that the capital assets increased significantly. I think it was mostly due to the use of the ARPA funds, and then there were capital assets that were added because of that. And then we can see that in total, the net position is continuing to grow. It was 1.2 million, now it's 1.4 million. The business type activities, there's really very little change from the previous year, but it's still positive. And then the next page is the change in net position. So this shows revenue and expenses through the whole year. And then we can see the capital grants and contributions. That's the use of the ARPA funds I was talking about. And then that's kind of the big change from the previous year. Other things are fairly consistent. The expenses, kind of where they went kind of switched up, but the expenses in total are pretty consistent. And then we can see, like I was talking about, in both years even, there's a positive change in net position, so the revenues exceeded the expenses in both years. So then the MD&A goes on for a while longer. I won't really touch on anything else in that, but it does have a lot of just good detail that, you know, just talk about other things.
Summarizes, like page 8 summarizes the fund balances, you know, showing, comparing where we ended the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then after that, so this is more detailed than the statements that I was just talking about, but kind of the downfall here is they're not comparative. So, you know, you see the current year, but you don't really know like where does that line up to last year. But that's why it's kind of nicer to look at the thing I was just talking about. But here it does have kind of more detailed, sort of a high level overview between the 2 years. So there's This is a statement of net position, so it's a point in time. It's showing assets, liabilities, and net position. And then since the assets were significantly larger than liabilities, there's positive net position. And this statement, it gets kind of, I won't go into all the details here, but it does look kind of weird, but this is just how governmental accounting is that this statement shows the capital assets on it, and then there's another statement 2 pages later where the capital assets are not on it. And it's just, it's just weird governmental accounting. They want to see it both ways, with and without these long-term assets and liabilities. But that's kind of, I won't go into really much detail on these because I really kind of touched on them in the previous statements. But these statements just kind of have some differences, due to some of them showing the capital assets and then some of them not showing. And then, let's see, next thing I guess is, that wasn't really in the current statements, there's these fiduciary net position and fiduciary, changes in fiduciary net position for pages 18 and 19. So this is just the property taxes being collected on behalf of the other governmental units, and then it's just showing that there is a very small amount still owed out to those at year end, and then the next page just shows that there's no net position really, because it's a fiduciary fund. You're holding money on behalf of others, so that there's no like income or expenses associated with that. The next thing, and I won't really touch much on these, but it's about significant accounting policies. These are the notes of the financial statements. It talks about what the significant accounting policies are. It also provides some additional detail. So, for instance, there's on page page 29, there's a whole detail of what the capital assets were at the beginning of the year, specifically what additions that we had, what was depreciated. So this is just kind of even more detailed than what was on the face of the financial statements. But the only thing I will say, which is just, I guess, a lot of that was just kind of the same from the previous year, but this year it is kind of it's a requirement to actually say this in the report. So on page 25 at the top, it's about the budget, and it's just that there were expenditures in excess of budget amounts by $200 for the Board of Review, and that's just, I don't know, it's, even if it was $1, it would have to be there, and that's really, it's not that substantial, honestly, but it's just a requirement that it has to specifically be said. So,
Our problem with the Board of Review is, of course, it went over in the middle of March, and we did not have the time to make an adjustment until our next meeting, which was in April. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
yeah, exactly.
there wasn't much to do about it other than call a special
They ran an
meeting.
extra meeting or something.
Yeah.
And I don't think spending the money on a special meeting was worth it
Yeah,
for
no,
that,
yeah.
so.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
It would cost more than the amount the Board of Review went over the budget.
yeah, no, I was gonna say, it's just I just wanted to, that's
But
basically.
they have to note it nonetheless.
Yeah, exactly, it's personally, I don't care, but, it's, but, yeah, it's,
Where's that in here?
and I just wanted to bring that up, I guess, just because, it is basically a difference to the previous year. So, previous year, nothing went over, so, but still.
Page 3's got his hand down, look at the second.
Oh, $200. Oh, I see.
I remember we ended up with 2 extra sessions.
Yeah, okay, and then.
Yeah, $50 first year.
Right. So, And then kind of just the back, there's some additional statements at the back. So starting on page, unless I skipped something, I think it's starting on page 30, yeah, 32. These just show the budget versus actuals by kind of by revenue and expenditure. Shows the favorable and unfavorable variance, and like Shirley was saying, it's like well, like I don't know if he specifically said it, but like everything else here, we can see it's it's a favorable variance, and then there's just that kind of fluke thing that happened with the political review. So that's just showing the differences there. Most of them are favorable. And then kind of same thing for the next one, just all favorable variances for the most part. The special assessment fund, I guess there was another unfavorable variance, but yeah. And then the last thing that we have is these combining schedules. So these are just kind of a bunch of, so starting on page 34, these are a bunch of kind of sub-funds within the general fund. And this is just showing, on one statement, it's the assets, liabilities, and fund balance. Then on another one is the revenue and expenditures. It's just showing, specifically what kind of rolls up then into the general fund that's presented at the earlier statements that we were talking about. So just some additional detail, nothing really substantial, but I guess just worth noting.
For purposes of the audit, like a lot of our reserve funds, the land and building fund, the improvement fund, the investment fund, the road fund, those get lumped in to call it general fund because those aren't statutory funds per se. Like special assessment fund is a restricted money. DDA is restricted money. I mean, perpetual care is restricted money, where these other ones aren't. So they go in the general class.
Yeah, and then I guess just like in general, like no difficulties with the audit. Everyone was very helpful, and we got information that we needed. So everything went pretty good. Any questions on any
Questions? Rich? Kelly, any questions? No? Very clear. Okay, thank you so much for coming and helping us.
Yep.
Yes, thanks,
All right.
Daniel.
Safe drive and watch out for the deer.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right, bye. Okay.
No, we took action last month. I just wanted him to come talk when he had time.
Okay, very good. All right, moving down the list, drains at large.
So we have to approve, this is our annual drains at large contribution, which this year is quite small. If you remember the last few years, we've had South Branch of the Looking Glass, or not the South Branch, the main Looking Glass. And I guess that must be done, is it, Mark?
Must be, I think so, they reached.
So yeah, our drain at large this year is $1,568.33.
Need a motion, do we?
Motion.
Motion by Mark,
Second.
Butch second, okay. Roll call vote, Kelly.
Francis Griffith,
Yes.
Kelly Schmidt, yes. Troy Parman,
Yes.
Mark Foltz,
Yes.
Mark Frazier.
Yes.
Yeah, so the three drains assessed this year will be the Bennett, the Hasford, and the Lot.
Okay, thank you. Do we need, Kelly will pay that then?
Yeah, we pay usually for December.
Okay, just perfect, so we're all set on that. Parking lot drainage. Kelly, you got the scope from them.
Mike Green will be working with Howard Excavation and Trucking. They provided an estimate for the water that is standing in our parking lot since we had it repaved. The estimate came in at $10,500. It's basically they're gonna work on the west side of the parking lot, provide a new catch basin, and run piping to the ditch out front. We had the ditches deepened to hold some of the water. And then on the north side, in the, what would be northeast corner, the plan is to make a small retention pond back behind Chapman's. It looks like 40 by 8 with sloped sides.
not a super deep, something that basically will take the water off that back corner and get it off the parking lot, so we don't ruin the edge of the parking lot again.
We did get permission from the Lardys to cross over on their easement through the field and across.
Take it across.
I think their plan is to do work when Benjamins take the corn off.
It is, yeah.
So that they don't track up the driveway easement, that's what's been arranged with everybody, so. Yeah, I mean, and this one out front here, like I said, they had to, since the county redug the ditch there, and weren't they gonna do something, they were gonna try to clean the culvert?
Yeah, they were fine, don't mind, yeah, so.
Yeah, we've got some drains that come off of the eaves troughs, they're gonna blow those out, they're gonna blow out the current piping that's over here.
So there's actually one that was found for that, or the building over there, for tying the eaves trough in, that is totally plugged, but by cleaning the ditch, they found it, so.
Right.
Right.
I mean, what we gotta do is get the water away, so we don't have to repeat the parking lot.
Right.
Right.
I mean, the problem is, you can see, since we graded it away, we dropped the back corner of the parking lot 1.5 feet down, because the water ran to the center of the parking lot, not off the parking lot.
And now they rent the hall, take the trash out to the trash dumpster, they walk through water this way.
Yeah, well, this one's the one that worries me,
And
this
this is-
is one holds it.
Yeah,
This one
it does.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the estimate with MR Green and Sons and Howard Excavating.
Troy's made a motion and Butch seconded, roll call vote.
Kelly
Kelly?
Schmidt, yes. Ray Parmalee? Yes. Mark Foltz?
Yes.
Mark Frazier?
Yes.
Francis Griffin?
Yes.
Okay, before we go to the last item, our commissioner is here, and do you want to say anything for us?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last couple of months, I'd come here first and deal with your business, and then I'd go over, and Woodhull Township would be all done with their meeting. So the last 2 months, I've gone over there first, that's why I'm a bit late tonight. Just wanted to mention a couple of things, and I assume that you're also looking at it through the MTA, but the legislation, proposed legislation that would preempt the zoning authorities like townships, or in your case would be the county and cities, their authority over these so-called renewable energy siting decisions. As of, I just got something from the county association as of yesterday. It had not passed yet, although it's expected to pass in the state house anyway. But as of yesterday, it hadn't passed. I think they're in session tonight. It may pass. I think it would be an abomination if that passes, because zoning has, in Michigan of all states in the union, has placed the real authority for zoning right down at the township and city level, depending on what it is. So that would be, I think, would just be.
Do you expect to see that there'll be a number of court cases filed after, if it passes?
There could be. I've heard that taught from people on the county level. But the problem is the legislature created the situation we have where local governments really control the zoning, and that's done by state statute, and they can change it. The only way to do it, the Constitution would override it, but I don't know if there's any language in the Constitution that could be read to prohibit. I mean, I'm sure they'll look at it. Plaintiffs' attorneys could be imaginative sometimes in trying to come up with something.
That's why I was just, Kelly just asked, and I had somebody else ask me, could it be put to a referendum?
Yes.
As a constitutional change.
Yeah.
Because there's a provision to do a referendum of any statute the state passes, right, unless it's an appropriation, correct?
Yes, there is.
But I mean, there's a lot of groups. I mean, it's not just MTA and the Michigan Association of County. I mean, Michigan Farm Bureau has been really involved in it. I mean, I've gotten more alerts from Farm Bureau than I have MTA on it. And I mean, because it's the slippery slope, right? You do this today, and then tomorrow's the gravel pits, and then, you know, it keeps eroding, and once
The
you...
gravel pit has been pending for a long time, and it hasn't passed. This one, maybe because the governor got up and said, really pushed it, that
The Republicans want to do the gravel pit one, and the Democrats want to do the solar panel one. I'm shocked they haven't tie-barred them together to get enough votes, but I guess they don't like each other that much. The way I know, when I counted the noes, I think they don't have the votes in the Senate as of yet, and that's why it's kind of stalled.
Maybe.
yeah, hopefully that would be.
They go to recess on the 9th, is that right?
Say again?
The land, do they have to be on recess after?
They
the
want,
9th?
they want to be recessed to achieve other objectives,
February.
like their
Yeah,
presidential
If
primary.
they want to have the presidential
Yeah.
primary in February, they have to adjourn.
8th to 9th.
Yes, to
So-
get,
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Anything else, Tom?
the other thing is, there's a septic, there's legislation to create a statewide septic regulatory structure. I think this probably affects the county more than it does the townships, but that is stalled too, and that, MAC doesn't think that'll come up, rear its head again until in September, until the spring. I'm sorry that I missed your discussion of the gravel pit. I would just want to say one thing. I do think, as much as criticism I hear of Pete Preston from the zoning on the county level, I will give him credit for having brought up the fact that he may have looked at the wrong map and making his initial decision. Now, that doesn't justify that major kind of follow-up that he did that, but at least he brought it up, and so that we all know the result of that. I'll talk to you after this. The other thing...
He was professional about it at the ZBA meeting.
Yes, he was. And the fact that he acknowledged his error and was good. The other thing I want to mention is housing. On the county level, there's been some emphasis on a lack of affordable housing issues. In the course of this, there was a task force, I can't remember the name, in Owasso, put together some data on it. Part of their data that came to me was that we have, they looked at Perry School District and Morris School District and said, we have kids that are impacted by lack of affordable housing. Perry said it was almost 300. Well, that's about a third of the whole school district. In Morris, they said it was over 100, which is about a quarter of the whole school district. Well, that just sounded extraordinary to me, so I checked with both the superintendents and the person responsible in Perry and Morris school districts. This task force was relying on McKinney-Vento legislation, federal legislation that creates a database on kids that might have a issue whether they had housing or not. For Perry School District, instead of being close to 300, it was 12 kids. That's what they should have reported. In Morris School District, instead of around 100 kids, it should have been 5 kids. Because I went back to the source, to the people that created that. So I have lost my, that group has lost any credibility with me. The reason I bring it up is there's this, our reaction in this country, anytime there's a problem, well, government's got to get in and do something about it. There had been some talk on the county level of creating some sort of housing authority or something. I'm reticent to do that because I'm not sure that we have a problem that justifies government, even on the county level, getting involved in that sort of thing. I would make this request, if you see any data about the numbers of people that can't get affordable housing or something, I mean, I would like to see it. I'm not trying to close my eyes to this issue, but I certainly don't want to rely on data like, now, I'll acknowledge that was just one part of their report, but it was such, to me, it was such an outrageous exaggeration that I question the whole, that task force's whole thing. And Mark, I guess if you see anything on the township level that deals with it, I'd like to know about it, and because I'll take a serious look at it.
Are you aware of the housing study that the land bank
Yeah,
put together?
I know there was one going on.
It's done. We've seen the draft. The final should be there. You could probably go upstairs in the Surbeck building, the SEDP's building, and probably your own office.
Yes.
Get a copy of it. But it covers the whole county.
Okay.
And it's about what we need in housing, what we have and what we need.
Okay, and you had, the township, you had a role in developing this? Or?
Well, we had the opportunity to give input to it.
Okay.
I spent probably pretty close to an hour on the phone with the gentleman that was doing the report.
Yeah.
What we needed it for, more from a future development direction is what we were
Yes.
looking at it
Okay.
for. And because we've run into problems with those condos in the city of the property that we were given by the state land bank, you know, they're having a hard time getting buyers because there's nothing to comp it to, because the price of materials and everything have driven the cost of things up. It makes it difficult to finance a number of buyers in the place. So that was the idea of the housing study, was to be able to provide developers, local governments, whatever information about. So but that, you could go get that from Justin or.
But
Yes.
you folks had a chance to see it before it was
Yeah.
finalized, and
The land bank.
Yeah, the
He's on
township.
the board.
Yeah, because I'm on the land bank.
Yes, yeah.
So,
I'll look into
I mean, you can ask Greg, he's on the land bank. And,
Okay, Tom.
But I mean, yeah, is housing becoming unaffordable? Yes, but I'm not sure what exactly, I would argue the government created it to be unaffordable, so I don't know. It's one of those creating the problem to solve the problem type thing.
Yeah, Tom, I know you don't have to go to the zoning, but we appreciate attending our township zoning appeal that we had, and we appreciate you being there every time it was open, you were there, so we do appreciate that very much.
Yes,
Very much.
no, without better support at the county level, that would have never happened.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, is that it for now? Okay, and electric range, Kelly.
Oh,
Yes,
okay, so today.
Kelly's been doing shopping.
Yeah. Today, we had a renter come in and say, I don't know if you know this, but the element in the oven does not work. And I said, no, we didn't know that. So I went and checked it, it does not work. And I looked to see if it was a kind that you could like plug in and unplug, change out like that. I don't know how old that, do you know how old that is?
I want to say it's not. You don't remember replacing it, so it's before you, okay. But it's been replaced since I've been here. But, yeah,
It's over.
so it's not fancy range.
No. So, there's been a fire in the thing, and
It's old and
a
looks.
fire extinguisher's been discharged in it, and, so, anyway, it's starting to rust. But it, like I said, the element does not work. And so I got on Home Depot's site and just kind of looked at different ranges. I don't know,
What brand is this?
this is
Shelter.
GE,
GE Pureway,
yeah.
As long as it's.
once in a man,
Yeah.
GE.
There's one
GE.
here that's just got dials on it, it doesn't have any electronics, it's just a plain Jane dial, so,
30-inch, that's what we need.
yeah.
Did they give us any kind of discount at Home Depot?
Do they give us a discount?
Well, we don't have to pay tax, but it does say that you get up to $1,000 rebate. I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's if you apply for a credit card.
It is?
Well, it is on sale 25% off, $161 off. If number 2 is $488, is it free shipping? Is it free delivery?
Free delivery, but, and then we can also pay to have haul-away, so.
I will make a motion that we approve replacing the stove at not to exceed $600 and choice be at the discretion of the clerk.
Not to exceed 600, and seconded by, I heard Butch first. Butch? Okay, roll call vote.
And then I gotta find it.
All right, discretion of the clerk.
So Troy and Butch?
Yes.
All right. How about Troy Carmeling?
Yes.
Mark Foltz?
Yes.
Mark Frazier?
Yes.
Francis Griffin?
Yes.
Alan Schmidt, yes.
And our other members of the public left, so there's no more public comments. So with that, what time is it?
Motion to adjourn.
8:07?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.